I first noticed a strange behavior in myself when I was about 12 years old. I would do things like check the lock on the door 2, 3, 4 times to make sure it was locked. Things like radios being off, checking it and pressing it down 2, 3, 4 times until eventually it would break off. Or symmetry was huge. Like with pictures, making sure they were aligned just so until everything in some weird sort of way felt right. During all this, I was 100% aware that what I was doing was stupid, was ridiculous. I would almost step out of myself and watch these things being performed going, what the hell is he doing? But it was amazing to find out that I was actually just one of millions that had this bizarre disorder.
OCD is a chemical imbalance. It's a mental illness. It has 2 parts, obsessive, compulsive disorder. Get it, OCD?
Obsessions are thoughts, unwanted thoughts that you can't get rid of in your head.
It makes you think of things totally different than any normal person would.
Thoughts about hurting people, thoughts about sexual deviation.
And I can't believe I think it. I can't believe that those thoughts come into my mind.
The compulsion is the actual physical doing to relieve these thoughts.
If your obsession is, my hands aren't clean enough, the compulsion would be maybe to wash your hands.
They can spend 2-3 hours just washing their hands.
Hoarding garbage, counting, checking. There's a whole myriad of different compulsive rituals.
It's like having like a bully that's there with you 24 hours a day.
Okay, hello boys and girls. Welcome to the 1997 Christmas tree decorating.
1996.
1996. And I'm Andy Stewart. I'll be here today to introduce you to our Christmas tree, 1996. Part of my brain doesn't work as well as others. It makes me have bad thoughts, and it makes me have rituals that it means habits. It means habits. And a few of those habits are, I touch stuff with both hands, all over, like this. And my bad thought would make me do it. Like I'd get kidnapped, or my parents would get kidnapped, or I'd fall through a drain pipe. Touching like this, touching the floor.
Right after he turned 9 years old, just came in out of the blue. His rituals changed almost hour by hour. I was at work and I was phoning home throughout the day to find out what new was happening. And between a Monday and a Friday, Monday being fairly free of rituals and Friday just totally consumed by them.
And nothing would be flicking lights on and off.
Suddenly we realized we were dealing with something that
Yeah.
we weren't expecting at all.
And then I would have my 9 one. Oh yes.
He knows he shouldn't be running out into the street to gnaw the street.
Over and over again. Till the bed's not fast.
He knows he shouldn't be picking his scabs till they blow up and infect.
And then I would have picking my lip, like I'd have to tear off the lip. And that's about it.
One of the scariest ones he did was on a dirty subway floor. Do you remember that?
Yep.
He would gnaw and bite their dirty subway floor, which upset you a lot, too, because you knew it made absolutely no sense to do it, but again, your brain told you to do it. At school, he would put shards of glass from the playground when there were some in his mouth, because your brain told you to do that, and pretty scary things like that.
I had certain bad thoughts, like my parents would get kidnapped, I'd get kidnapped, I'd fall through a drain pipe, my family would get hurt, and I had lots of habits from those thoughts. And one of those habits would be in the kitchen. I put a knife into my chest, or into my ass, and then I'd take it out, and I'd throw it leave for a second, and then I'd have to do it over and over again. So I'd leave for a second, then over and over again.
Suddenly, boom, and it would just become like Jekyll and Hyde, a different person.
What's there, Abby?
Get it up.
There, Abby.
Put it in the garbage.
I'm not gonna do all the work for this stupid family.
And it made me cry and my parents cry. And even my sister Ainsley cry.
Ainsley, what's it like living with a brother who has OCD? Tell me about it.
Well, it's kind of pain. He does things that his OCD makes him do that I don't like when my friends are over.
At its worst point, which was last spring, and I think you'd agree with this, Andrea, we feared that we couldn't keep Andrew at home. It was that bad. And I know, it's upsetting, but you're okay, sweetie. It's absolutely fine. You know that wasn't, we were never going to send you away. We were never going to send you away. Remember what happened to Ainsley? His 8-year-old sister got so upset that I found her one night without any shoes on in the snow, just shaking with fear. When we got the right meds, and again, the proper therapy, a total change.
Changed overnight almost.
And now you're doing
The
just
severity
fine, Andrew.
greatly diminished.
Doing beautifully. Yeah. How did you feel about it all, sweetie? Yeah.
It's hard, because, like, I want to be like everyone else so badly. The key phrase of OCD is until it feels right. I do everything until it feels right. Yeah, now everyone knows my secrets.
Now, I have 2 kids. This doesn't look that different than our laundry room.
No, but see, this is all my clothes. See, this isn't the family's clothes, just mine. So,
And the rituals that you go through in here?
yeah, I will start, like, I'll put a load of clothes in. And first I have to decide what goes with what. Because let's say I've been to my doctor's office. Well, I don't want my doctor's office clothes to go in with the rest of the clothes because they might be contaminated with doctor's office germs. And then what's the sense of washing them, right? If
Of course. So it has nothing to do with whites and darks and hots and colds?
No, I throw blacks and whites in, I don't care. This is 3 days' work.
How many times did each one of those articles go through the wash?
5, 6 maybe.
So what feeling will you get?
That if I get sick, I won't be able to go to school in September. If I don't go to school in September, I won't get an education. If I don't get an education, I'm going to be homeless and have no future.
Right. Now, that's the only bad thought you've talked to us about so far. Do you have any other bad thoughts you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I have problems with babies. I really like children, but I have problems seeing babies, holding babies, going near babies even. I think when I touch a baby, I'm gonna throw it. Or if I'm like in the shopping mall and I see a baby being pushed, I think I'm gonna run over and push the baby carriage into a wall or something. So I try and avoid babies.
No. Like we always say about every other OCD thing, that is the opposite of how Tricia feels.
Yeah, see, I know deep down that I'd never hurt a child. I never hurt anyone, especially an innocent little baby. A person that checks bookcases, that just makes me feel like maybe I'm like nuts, but I know I'm not. But a person that thinks about harming children, I think that's a real yucky person. I know it's the OCD, but it hurts. I noticed my OCD as far back as I can remember. When I was really little, like, I had super curly hair. And it was in ringlets, so my parents used to brush it out with detangler or water when I was like, 3, 4. And if water got on my clothes, I'd automatically have to go get changed, and I couldn't wear those clothes because they were contaminated. Like, I give them plenty of hints. I used to walk into their room in the middle of the night saying, I'm scared, I don't want to live, I can't take this anymore, I don't like my life, I'm such a terrible person.
When we look back in retrospect, we can see where she had done things to hide it from us. We were going into a department store. We'd go in as a family, she'd be leading the way, get to the door, But then all of a sudden she'd stop, she'd have to tie up her shoe or something. So of course, the next person opens the door and then she'd walk in. That way she didn't have to touch the door handle that everybody else had touched.
I used to wash my hands a lot, 35 times a day. The first layer of your skin, your epidermis here, it was all bloody. Like I couldn't even have my clothes touch them because they hurt so much because they were raw. I had to line up my books perfectly until it felt right. Sometimes I'd spend 3 or 4 hours on it. I might think near the end of the book, page 189, I might think I missed a line on it. Or will I just start over on page 189? No, I'll start back on page 1. I would constantly have things running through my mind. Like I was watching TV and it mentioned $237. And I kept dividing it by 4 because there was 4 in my family. And then I'd add tax because we were going out to eat. And then I'd add tax in New York and then tax down in Florida. 50%. I check, recheck. And then I'd have to check again and again and again. I just kept correcting myself. I would spend all my days doing all OCD rituals. And of course that just makes you depressed. So I had decided like life wasn't worth living. When I was 16, I tried to kill myself. I took a bottle of my medication, clomipramine, and I just kept swallowing the pills. I really didn't want to die. I just wanted to be normal. I just wanted everything to go away. So I just took the pills, and after I took them, I felt really bad and really dumb. So I told my dad eventually, and I went back to the hospital. Probably really lucky I didn't die.
You doubt everything you do. In fact, the French call the illness the doubting disease.
We got married in 71. I could just be myself and I could totally relax. And he accepted me for the way I was, and I didn't have to put on any airs or anything, and it was just nice at the time. It was about 5 or 6 years after we were married, and everything was going fine, and then his mother died. That's when everything seemed to start. He was worried about, the taps being running or not turning off the lights, and it just gradually escalated up and up till it seemed to consume his whole life then.
Have you ever had a nightmare and you wake up and it seems like it's so real, like it's really happening? You wake up full of fear. That's how you feel. As if someone was sticking a gun in your mouth and say they're going to blow your head off. That's how you feel. And I would grab this hairspray. And I don't believe that this is hairspray in my mind. So I say to myself, and I say it out loud, Alberto. Like this morning I had a terrible time. And I said that 3 or 4 times, and I was rubbing my fingers up and down here like this.
I could never turn the taps on and off because he'd done them so tight. I'd have to get vice grips.
There have been times I don't believe I've done it, and I'd be pulling it up like this and turning it off again. Or times I just wouldn't turn it out. I wouldn't pull it out, but I wouldn't believe that I've turned it off. I would simply go like this.
It would just escalate up and up and up. And then how many times have I washed my face? Have I washed it 2 or 3 times? And combing his hair, getting every single hair strand down. And I'd be sitting in the bathroom and I'd just sit on the toilet because I couldn't stand for 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. And I'm thinking the whole time, there's so much I've got to do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
When he first got it, he said, "Oh, you're going to leave me." And I promised that I wouldn't leave him. But I never had any idea that it was going to get as bad as it did.
I'd have some kind of fear in my mind that the towel isn't there, that it's on the floor, or something might have happened to it. So I'd be staring, literally staring at the bottom of the towel to convince myself that the damn thing is there. I said, some of these things are just stupid.
I would not be able to open the front door. At my house, sometimes
So the knobs would be the major.
yeah, I don't know what they've touched, where they've been. If somebody does come in, which is mainly just my parents and my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, I can tell you when they leave, everywhere they've touched, everywhere they've gone. If they've touched the banister, the wall will have to be washed down.
When we come in, we have to change. We have to first take our clothes off. This is a safe haven for her inside. That's why she doesn't allow people to come inside her house, even though she'd like to. But she can't because of anxiety. She would have to follow you and see where you go, where you touch, where you don't go, or else she won't be at ease.
I graduated with honors at Seneca, and I slowly started to get up the ladder, and I finally found one company that I was the only designer for, and I started getting into magazines. I did radio, I did television. It got to the point where I was well known. It wasn't until '89 that I was in a car accident. Then in '91, the OCD hit, and I didn't know what it was, and I just started acting all weird. First of all, I do have a problem with my own kitchen tap, so I do have that problem, but being not my house, I wouldn't touch it, so if you could
Of
touch
course,
it for
and
me.
that's because just of all the many different hands that have gone through.
Yeah, and I would take like a paper towel, and I would start first, well, first I would put a paper towel down, and then I would take a paper towel, and I would wash repeatedly, and I mean repeatedly. I would put it under there. Sometimes I get it in where it doesn't light, and I would repeatedly do that so it feels good. So I would leave it like that. And
Picture everything
the countertop, so I would just
with shit on it, excuse the expression. Doorknobs, the walls, the lights, clothes, your hands, anything.
then I would get more paper towels. And I would now...
To an OCD person that has contamination fears, to me, that's what they feel.
And I would continue to do this constantly.
That
And
I
then
cannot
would
touch.
have to, like,
That
anyway,
item that's got shit on it.
what I would do is now wipe down this, and then I'll get another napkin.
So
again.
any person in the right mind that sees shit on a doorknob, he's not gonna go touch that doorknob to open it.
Close that tap. Now I touched that ashtray, and it's not mine. So I'm feeling, unfortunately, I'm feeling very anxious at the moment.
Right.
And I'm not.
I understand. It's okay. Take all the time you need. And let me shut it off for you when you're ready.
Please.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable with being here, and I'm not comfortable with the items. And I mean, it's hard for me at home, but it's a little more difficult here. I have to, is it all right if I sit
Yes.
over there?
Yes, wherever you want.
Can I don't use my hands, so I pull out my chair.
Of course. Would you feel better that you want to have a cigarette now? Please feel free.
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, because I feel contaminated. If you were to see me off the street, you wouldn't think that I'd have a severe OCD illness, and yet I do. And I've spent alone this year 4 months at one time, just over a week another time, and over a month just now in the hospital.
I've been to the point of suicide, and I've been to the point where I've overdosed so many times that I'm scared. I'm scared of what I'm capable of doing one day, that I really can't fight this illness.
When it gets better.
They said this time in the hospital that the OCD is, that I am non-responsive. And that what that means is that I'm not responding to medication or to treatment anymore.
A normal person's brain, they have enough serotonin, but in my brain, I don't have enough serotonin. The medication are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs. They provide the extra serotonin. The last year has been super. My OCD didn't take up more than 10 minutes of my day.
And they just found the right combination of drugs.
It was a perfect combination of drugs. I found the perfect combination that worked for me. It was a really high dose, but it worked. I would laugh. I would spend hours just laughing at things. I did everything everyone else did. Had a great life. I had lots of friends. I was going out. I seen like the leaves that change this year. It's the first year I've ever watched the leaves change. But there's like side effects and you have to choose. I've gained 108 pounds since I started the meds. I was very thin before. I liked being very thin. I'd rather gain 3,000 pounds than to have the life that I used to have. I wanted a career where I could make a reasonable living. I didn't want to get rich. That would have been nice, so. I didn't know what to do, so I went to the guidance counselor, and she went through options, and, you know, you could become occupational therapist assistant and a bunch of other things. And, you know, she came up with an idea I knocked down before she got it out of her mouth. And she looked at me, and she laughed, and she said, well, you could always be a funeral director. I'm headstrong, so I was like, no, I'm gonna try it. I put in my resume and tried to get a co-op and ended up getting one at Swackhammer Funeral Home. And at first I didn't think I would do well. The first day I went, my dad actually sat in the van in the parking lot because he thought I would run out. He didn't think I would actually make it into the funeral home for more than 20 minutes. But I really enjoyed it. Of course, I was really worried about the first embalming. The first embalming I did at school was really hard because, you know, like 1 out of every 10 bodies we get at the school is HIV positive. I was quite proud of myself that I could do it. And everything was going really well, but my feet started going numb. And they started doing neurological tests to see if there was something wrong, and they couldn't find anything out. And eventually, I guess in mid-October, they found out it was my medication.
Oh, no.
So they had to cut me back on my medication to see if they could bring me to a level where it didn't affect my legs. And eventually, but lowering me I got so bad, I went back to where I used to be. It was like watching a really bad movie where you know the character's falling apart, but that person was me. I just want to scream. It seems so unfair. I'm so jealous of other people. I'd do anything to be back at school, being healthy. People take for granted their health.
Tricia, being Tricia, has been so strong about it. I mean, she stood up. She'd been in the hospital, and she stood up and did a talk in her class. It's one of her projects on OCD. like any parent, we want the best for our kids. And we've seen how hard she struggled. And she went from a child that had a problem. She found the right medication. And, everything for 6-8 months was perfect. I mean, she commented numerous times, Dad, I got no OCD.
I hear all these wonderful stories about premonitions and ghosts and all these wonderful things that happen.
I know it was great for me the first time I ever met somebody else with OCD. It's like, when you actually will check the door 3 times, it's like, holy cow, that's amazing.
It was like a huge relief, Like, I always thought I was crazy. Like, I had to be crazy. Like, I would watch the news and I'd be like, I'm worse than the axe murderer. I'm worse than the child molester. Oh my God.
For me, it was a completely different experience. I actually found it very depressing. They're all like 50 years old. They haven't got anywhere in their life. They're suffering all the time. It was just so depressing. Everybody was
wanted to hear.
Exactly.
Recently, since we met with you 48 hours ago, you've gone completely off all meds, is that correct?
I really think I probably won't make it through the end of next week. I'll be in the hospital by the end of next week. I know it. Like, I've been there 5 times before. I know when it's time to go.
Because Andrew's symptoms were fairly profound at that, and we were able to get psychiatric help fairly quickly and get him diagnosed quickly and started on medication.
Great. Look up.
So you move the decimal to the right 2 times, and I think you guys are getting pretty good at that. Boy, somebody's getting it. Andrew is fascinating. I think he's an amazing kid, and I think he's got an awful lot of personal strength. He has heroes, like he's just in love with Jackie Robinson, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. He has these people in his mind who he thinks have overcome and done great things, and I think he holds that in his mind as something that he's going to do too.
This is Jackie Robinson, and Jackie Robinson is my hero because he broke the color barrier. He fought like I had to fight my OCD, but he had to fight worse probably. He got trampled on. He get yelled at. He would get names called at him.
The OCD started playing its tricks again.
Yeah.
And a bad thought came to your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Could you tell me what's...
And can I say the letter of the word or
You can say the word. We know you don't mean it.
Okay, the word is nigger.
And the word sometimes gets stuck in his head. And he hears when we talk about these obsessional thoughts, one of the recent obsessional thoughts he had is the word nigger going around and around and around in his head. And it makes him believe that he's a bad person at the time.
I want to be an optimist. I want to be a pessimist. I want to fight it so hard. I want to fight my OCD. I don't want to give up on it. If you give up on it, you're not going to get anywhere in life. You're not going to get nothing.
very first time you were in your Girl Scout uniform.
Yeah.
Ah, so uncool.
Hated that.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's kind of pain, but you can help them a lot sometimes, and sometimes you can't.
And then 1 year later, we came back to you,
I had it.
and you had it.
I had the exact same thing that I was saying. And it was weird, because when we watch it sometimes, it's like, it's me now. I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We don't know where it all came from. It was a total surprise to us.
And then for my final one, I always got to go 11.
Hasn't even always sunk in yet that we have two of them that are going through all this. My game was
It doesn't matter as long as they win.
2 seconds to go.
In my case, I cried a lot. I went to church a lot.
I haven't seen it. I think that you have it in your...
Sometimes you feel like tearing your hair out and say, enough! But you have to work through it and remain calm, or else it doesn't work. It's just like any parenting.
And then, okay, I'm just actually having one right now. I have to close this tight.
The latest research on OCD is showing a strong genetic component.
I am having one actually right now.
Neither David nor I have OCD. I certainly have obsessive-compulsive tendencies, but I haven't crossed the line into the actual disorder itself. I would be more of a perfectionist.
So the homework was the worry, thoughts, and challenges, the fear plan, and monitoring your symptoms.
I did Nugget. I don't kiss her anymore.
Great, you got one off the list. Okay, 2 stickers. Excellent. So you were able to fight the urge.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the new ones that you're developing?
I go, are you tired? And if they're tired, I get scared that someone's gonna come and kill me, right? So I always ask that. And if they are, I get really scared. If they're not, I'm okay. But I always know that they're kind of really are, but they're just not gonna tell me.
And what am I supposed to say if you say, are you tired?
Nothing. I'm not gonna say it, Mom.
Okay. Shake.
Once I found out what OCD was, that it had a name, that it was real, I was able to conquer it. So what I basically did was, I went back to my room, and I made everything totally askew. I made it completely wrong. The radio knob goes to its halfway point. Cupboards, drawers, I'd leave them half open, and I'd let the anxieties of all this being wrong, just wash over me. Remarkably, after a very short time, the anxieties of these OCDs went away. I now know that I'm one of the lucky ones. I was able to get my OCD under control.
Behavior therapy is exposure and response. So exposure is exposing yourself to something that you fear. I'm outside of the Special Immunology Service Clinic. This is our HIV/AIDS clinic in Hamilton. I come here to do my behavior therapy. By coming here, it exposes me to HIV and AIDS, which I'm scared of. And the longer I sit or stand here, the more my anxiety level goes down. So it's really high when I first come, and then it drops slowly as I sit.
Alexander, David, and Andrew, line up at the front.
Once the medication kicked in, we were able to see the cognitive behavioral therapy start working, and he was able to work on exposure and response prevention, which really has been key in terms of teaching him to let the thought pass and not respond with a ritual.
Tell me what's happening, Andrew.
I'm feeling all dirty.
Dirty?
Yeah,
And you want a shower?
yeah. And I don't need germs on me. I'm feeling really afraid. I'm really afraid.
Feeling afraid?
Yeah. I'm trying to let it pass.
Hey, sweetie, tell me, why, when did you last have a shower? Huh?
Yesterday.
No, this morning. You had a shower this morning. You don't need another shower, okay? Germs are on you? All right, let's work on it, okay? What number is it, sweetie? Is it number 10? Okay, well, how to say, all right, close your eyes. Here, stand up. Stand up for a minute. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay, ready? Wait. Close your eyes. Picture the shower. Put a big X through it and let it bubble up into the air. Watch it go into the air. Far away. 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 Breathe deeply, sweetie. Breathe. No, shh. Breathe. Picture it going away like a balloon, floating away.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
I will love you.
I will love you.
And honor you.
And honor you.
All the days of my life.
All the days of my life.
I shook everybody's hands. I danced. We went on a 1-week cruise and a 2-week Jamaican holiday. I didn't have a problem. We went deep sea fishing. We hired our own boat. We did everything and anything possible.
I married her because I loved her.
You must be incredibly angry as well.
Oh, sure I'm angry. Angry, a lot of things we can't do anymore, you know?
I know this is a touchy subject and we don't have to talk about it. Romance in your life, you've been able to keep that alive with feelings of contamination and such?
I'm scared about it because I don't know if she's wants me near her, not near her. You miss the days when you can hug each other or you can kiss each other good morning.
I'd come into the parking lot at work in the morning and it'd take me 20 minutes or longer just to get out of the car. I'd have to go through a ritual, make sure it's in park, make sure all the windows are done up. And I'd put my hand on the glass, and be tapping against the top to make sure that, to convince myself that it was done up.
He had a good job and was doing really well. And then towards the end, it just deteriorated so much that he couldn't do the job. And then he couldn't even handle doing the photocopying.
You come in with a broken arm, people see it, people understand it. But you come in and say, well, I don't believe there's coffee in this mug. It's hard for someone to understand that. Thank God I was in the union because there was a clause in there which allowed for disability.
Nothing seemed to work. He did do the behavior modification, and that was wonderful. But it gradually slipped back again. So he'd heard about this surgery, and I didn't get into a whole lot of the details on that, but it's almost like a bit of a lobotomy.
Now, you're completely awake during the procedure. They drill a hole right through your skull. Then they put a probe down there.
And you just wonder what's going to happen, how much damage they can do, because a simple slip, and he could be a vegetable.
Summers ago, I had a couple of really bad times. I was totally overdosed. I collapsed on the floor upstairs, and when I came to, my husband was calling out my name and stuff, and I told him to drag me down the stairs. The paramedics were never allowed inside the house. I don't care what you have to do, drag me to the door. They're not coming into my house as long as they found me outside. I have a feeling that I did stop breathing, but my husband won't discuss it with me. He tells me it's not necessary for me to know what happened.
So how's it going, Grace? Oh, I've never done what I did last week.
I know. Do you feel like you might do that again? Does that feel like a risk right now?
No, last night I was making dinner and I just stopped and stared at the knife, and it was so easy for me to just do it. And then I don't know what held me back. I guess it was because my daughter was due back from school any minute.
So I think what we do is we get you hopefully admitted through emergency. You're going to go into emergency and see if we can get you into a hospital. So let me try that first. Okay? And let's see if I can find out about any beds. All right? Hi, it's Dr. Richard. Who am I speaking with? Hi, Cindy. I need a bed. Do you have one? Otherwise, I'm sending her to emerge. It's for Grace Petrella. She's feeling less in control. She actually did superficially cut her wrist last week. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I just can't find out about 9 right now. They do have a discharge, but the nurse is under the impression it's already been committed, that bed. So I wouldn't hold your breath, but let's wait and find out. Okay?
I know I'm asking too much, but my OCD is ridiculous lately.
I know, Grace.
You know when I'm at home, you're okay. So.
And how are you going to take a week off?
Grace, you're sick. My wife is ill. You're allowed to get, that's statutory law, you're allowed to leave.
Mm-hmm. You can take a leave, Grace.
Okay?
And
Even if it's for a week, I tell them, look, I have to take a leave of absence, that's it. Can't do anything about it.
Dr. Darby. Okay, let me ask them, where are you? Are you at 6876? Or can you hold for just a moment? I'll just ask them to go to the hallway. Okay. Let me just speak with Dr. Darby, okay?
Come here. Grace, come here. Grace, come here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, we have Dr. Darby to thank. It worked out well today.
No, thank Dr. Darby, for sure.
Okay. No, we'll work on it. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
I'll see you at 9. I'll stop by and just say hello because I'm going to have to write things up.
I'm off all my meds now, and I'm back in the psychiatric ward. It got really, really hard to cope. And it got to the point where I didn't want to live on this earth any longer. So I knew I needed help. I was showering 10 to 12 times a day. I started off showering with just soap on my body, shampoo, conditioner. Then it became soap, shampoo, conditioner, soap, shampoo, conditioner on my whole body. Then it became dish soap, shampoo, conditioner, soap. Then it became laundry detergent, shampoo, conditioner, dish soap. Then it became Comet laundry detergent. Yeah, I knew I had a problem when I was using Comet to clean my body and laundry detergent. When your whole day is OCD, if you can get 14 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, anything, it's worth it. It's worth scrubbing the skin off of your body just to get 2 minutes of peace and quiet. When it's all day, every day, when you go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, you have nightmares about it. That 2 minutes is worth more than anything in the world.
You have a roommate?
Yeah, I do.
How old is she?
77.
So you must have a lot in common.
Oh yeah, tons. Tons.
Now, I know you originally came here because the meds wore off because they wanted to investigate what caused the numbness in your legs and feet.
They're not sure, but I cross my legs. Like, I sit on the floor with my legs crossed, and I do my homework. That's how I do my homework. And when I watch TV, I usually sit on the floor with my legs crossed, like, you know, how a little child does. Yeah. Well, apparently that's not so great for your nerves.
Are they going to put you back onto the OC meds now?
Now that they think the numbness was caused by crossing my legs, I'm able to go back on my medication.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so...
That's great news.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be out of here in 2 or 3 weeks. But, like, there's no guarantees.
Hurry up and get home.
The operation didn't have any effect. The OCD is still the same. It's changed in some respects. In a lot of respects, you could say it's better, but it's still there.
I just felt so bad for him, and I thought, I could never leave him. You couldn't leave anyone in a situation like that. But then he was the one who decided to leave. And so then it was his choice. Because I would never have left him, only because I made this promise back 22 years ago. And there's certain promises that if I make, I'll never break them. And that was one of them. So, unfortunately.
I don't really feel that I got the emotional support that I perhaps could have gotten, and I think that would have also made it easier for her.
The first weekend he was gone, my son had a huge party, and then my daughter had a huge party to just celebrate being on our own, which it's sad, but that's what they wanted, to just feel free and away from it all.
Like, physically, I'm healthy as a horse, but unfortunately, you just can't screw off your head and put on another head. So you do what you can, and the secret is you do it and you go on. See, I'm not one who ever gives up. I never give up.
Where are we?
Well, we're in my backyard. It's okay to be back here as long as we don't go inside.
Well, I made sure I told everybody to pee before we came.
Oh, did you? Thank God.
Since your stay at the hospital last time, how's it been going? You're on a new med now?
Yeah, I'm on a new medication, and it's going, but the only problem is that I find myself very anxious during the day.
She's come a long way, but it's still hard for her. She fights it every day. She fights it.
I still can't stop the obsessive thoughts. And I've been getting a lot of bad thoughts, like if I don't do this, something's going to happen to so-and-so, and it's just a constant battle. It's always struggling, always questioning, second-guessing yourself. You want to go and see the frog in the pond?
Okay.
We'll go see the fish.
I know you can't shake hands, you can't hug, open doors. How come with your daughter it's not a problem?
I think it's because I hurt her so many times in the past by not showing her affection and stuff, that it kind of affected her and it affected me. I don't want to do it to her again.
It's hard because her mom's not home. Said I wouldn't break up my daughter.
Hello. Hello.
What are you doing?
Just walk. Do, do, do.
What do you think?
Do,
You're,
do, do.
you're a cameraman now?
Do, 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 do.
Like now she'll shower and then she'll say, can I cuddle with you? Right after her shower, she won't touch the light switch or anything, just to cuddle with. Oh.
I don't want to hurt her anymore.
The last 2 years have been very interesting. I knew I had a great deal to offer someone, and I wanted to share that with someone. So I started using the telephone dating services. Sometimes I was meeting 3 or 4 women a week. I left a message in her mailbox, and so she called me and we talked.
Talked every day on the telephone.
Yeah.
For now, at least. Still do. When I'm not doing.
Yeah, actually, I do most of the talking, she admits.
Did she have to learn to not assist you with the OC rituals, but to say, wait a second, that's OCD, buddy. Walk away, fight it.
There was a few times when she said, oh, I'll help you. No, I said, no. No, this is, I do this myself, you know.
This is your battle.
Yeah, like my zipper, for example. She said, just do the damn thing up. She says, it's up. You don't have to worry. I said, well, we shouldn't be doing that. Don't do that. You know, I have to do it myself.
No, when a woman wants to help you with a zipper, you say, yes, Marvin.
Well, pulling it up or pulling it down?
I'll take it anyway.
I'm not victim, but person with OCD. But I'm actually feeling definitely a lot better. First of all, because of medication, because of doctors, and mostly because of me, I'd say. My parents, my family, my dog, my sister.
And you said a great thing there. Mostly because of me.
Yeah.
How much does the you have in the fight? Is it the meds and the therapy, or is it you? Like how much? With the OCD though, did you just get to a point where it's like, that's it, enough already?
Yeah.
Enough of this. I'm gonna stop now.
Yeah. Well, I just said like, both, you know, get, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
My medication started to work. I'm back to almost my old self. So it's like working at about 95% now.
95% of your OCD is gone?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. I'm having too much fun.
What have you been doing?
Oh, lots of things. I can walk in the park now. I can go near kids. Woo! This is fun! Woo! And I shower once a day, just like the rest of the world. And
The laundry room.
the laundry room is a mess, and I really don't care. My laundry goes in once and comes out. It's amazing when you're feeling well to enjoy your life. You want to go higher? You want to go higher?